Welcome to the Class Business Podcast. I'm Krissy Monaghan, your host, and today we're joined by Elle Franklin, founder of the Wild Isle Nature School, where she creates nature-based learning and well-being experiences designed to help children, families, and women build confidence, connection, and calm. Elle is a double finalist at the Class Business Awards for Adult Class Provider of the Year and Rising Star of the Year, sponsored by Baby Beats. I can't wait for this conversation, so let's dive in. Elle, it's amazing to have you here on the podcast today. For everybody that's listening online and watching us on YouTube, please tell everyone who you are, what do you do, and where do you do it?
Thank you. My name's Elle, and I founded Wild Isle Nature School based on the Isle of Wight 2 years ago now. I left primary school teaching to do something that was better for my mental health and better for my family so that I could be more present. And we're there. I've got a way better work-life balance despite running my own business. And we've got a growing team and things are developing beautifully.
That's amazing. Right. So first of all, we have something in common. We both live on an island. But how many people actually live on the Isle of Wight?
Oh, thousands. Way more than
okay,
I think.
Yeah, so it's a relatively good population size. And obviously you made the leap from teaching. Were you a primary teacher or secondary teacher?
I was a primary teacher, and prior to getting into teaching, I'd been an early years practitioner. So I've brought through those threads of child-led learning and early years education into what we're doing today.
And I always ask this for everyone, because I've done so many interviews now and so many people were teachers and they've left teaching, which is obviously really sad. Did you always want to be a teacher, or did you fall into teaching?
A bit of both, I think, which might sound bizarre. So as I was growing up, my mum worked in schools.
Right.
And she was the Senko, so dealing with all of the families and supporting children with special educational needs. So I went through my primary education with my mum at the same school as me. And then things happened. I fell pregnant when I was really young. I had my eldest when I was 16. And after taking a year out and not heading straight to uni, I fell into a job supporting at an after school club in a school. And I really enjoyed what I was doing. I think prior to that, I'd loved having my mum around for school holidays. So suddenly, as a mum myself, I thought it would be really lovely to get my foot in the door in schools and have that time off with my own daughter. Went down the route of doing a degree in early childhood studies, and the natural progression felt like I should move into teaching. Taught for a few years and then fell pregnant with my youngest daughter. And after maternity leave with her and heading back into the classroom, I thought, how on earth do teachers do this with more than one child at home? Because I was struggling. And I've just got no idea how people can maintain giving their family everything that they need from them and giving the job everything that it needs. Because teaching isn't just mentally exhausting with the planning and the prep, but also emotionally exhausting because you put so much of you into the small people that you're teaching.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it's exactly, you've described it really well. And you're the first person that's always said to me, because most people have left because of, you know, the system and everything else. But yours was more like, how the heck do I do both, be a good mum and obviously continue working? And so was it quite an easy decision for you to leap into self-employment, or did it take you some time to get there?
Initially, when I first floated the idea with friends and family, friends were very much, why on earth would you leave a stable job? You've got such a good job. But my family were massively behind me. So from as young as I can remember, my dad's run his own business, had his own companies. So that felt like second nature, to have the support and backing from my own parents. But my father-in-law also runs his own company. And I think the backing was there. There were definitely friends that thought it was a wild idea. And for a moment, I listened to the wrong people. But after having some great, literally through my therapy sessions, speaking to my counsellor and working things through, I've learned to listen to the right people, not the people that don't actually know what you're going through, don't know what's going on, and they're not the ones that you should be listening to the advice from.
Oh no, and it's very true. Don't listen to people that are not who have not done it. like at the end of the day, your family have got you. Sound like you've got an amazing family around you who understand being self-employed, directors, companies, all of that, because all the responsibility does obviously fall on you, and they know what it's like. So you did the leap. So where did the nature part come from?
I have always been an outdoorsy person. Like you say, living on an island, we are surrounded by natural beauty. And for myself, I know that I'm happier when I'm outside. And we've got so many beautiful nature reserves on the island that it was a bit of I can use my teaching skill set and bring it outdoors. And after some real thought, a bit of research, throwing ideas around with friends and family, I'd come up with the idea behind Wild Isle. And things developed in a way that perhaps I didn't even envisage. So the Isle of Wight has got the largest home ed community in the whole of the country. I didn't necessarily consider that I'd be working with the home ed community. I thought I'd go down the route of really utilising that early years expertise I've got. But after putting the name out there, doing a little bit of work in the first summer, people were coming to me and asking what I was doing for home ed children. Okay, we can do something. And it's developed from there. We now work during term time, mostly with the home ed community and doing alternative provision. So for children that can't manage in a mainstream primary, settings offer a little package to the child and get them out of the classroom into different provisions for their education. So that's what we do most of the time during term time. But this weekend, we've been at an amazing event. We sponsored the event and we provided a kids' nature play space. The event was a village show, but it's developed over the years. And thousands of people attended. And the feedback that we had across the weekend just makes it so worthwhile doing it. I have myself and another member of staff with me. And after the end of each day, we got together and just sort of pulled on those comments from people saying how amazing it was, what we were doing, and how gorgeous the setup was, how nice it was to see the kids playing with natural things, not sat watching a screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree. That sounds amazing. It sounded like a really great weekend that you had. And obviously, I know you do a lot of work with the children, but you also run adult provision.
Yes, we do. So we run something called Wild Women, which I love what we do. And a moment ago, I said that I feel happiest when I'm outdoors. And it sounds silly, but I created what I wanted to go to.
That's good.
After doing some great training with a few different providers on supporting adult wellbeing and mental health outdoors, I looked to develop a program for adults to give women a breather from the day-to-day. So we almost have a mini retreat, 3 hours on a Saturday, away from daily life. No pressure to be mum. No pressure to make the decisions for everyone else. A moment to just be for themselves. And those 3 hours are made up of a nature walk, sitting around the fire, or not at the moment. We're not doing fire right now. Some journaling, laying in a hammock, sharing a drink with other women and just chatting around the circle. The idea initially came from women's circles, but I realised that I didn't think I could facilitate a women's circle. I think I would find it boring to sit there. So, like I said, it's something that I wanted to do myself. And it came from there. I started the Wild Women sessions back in April 2025, and we had some women come along to every session throughout the spring and summer last year. And then come October, they said to me, it was 2 women, 2 friends. They said to me, Ellie, this is going to be our last session that we come to, because we've taken everything that you've taught us and now we do it together. We carve out that time for ourselves, and they get together each week. They take themselves, just the 2 of them, for a nature walk, and they sit there with their journals in the woods and they practice some of the activities that we've done together. And they even said, we've come up with some of our own things as well. And although it was sad to lose those 2 lovely customers, and from a business sense, it doesn't make sense to lose custom. But overall, I felt like they'd graduated my provision. They'd come full circle. They'd learn everything with us, and now they can do it independently, which just filled me with so much joy. And we're a small community on the Isle of Wight. Not that small. There's lots of people here, but we bump into each other around Christmas at a Christmas event, and again in the springtime. And it's just so lovely to see them, and they talk about what they do together, and it just makes me so proud.
Yeah, well, that's impact, isn't it? That's you've changed their lives.
Mm.
Yeah, which is something to feel proud about, because it's when you've made a difference to someone like that they've taken all the tools that you've given them and then implemented themselves in their day to day. It shows that you had an impact on them and gave them the tools they needed. And like you said, they just graduated. That's just natural.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant that you've done that. And is Wild Women still going? It's still happening?
It is. So back in February, I was involved in a car crash, which knocked me entirely. I was out of work for 6 weeks. My back is still bad. And like I said a moment ago, our day-to-day during term time is the alternative provision and working with the home ed community. So the priority was to get that educational provision back into play in the first instance. Obviously, I've got a team working with me. We got that sorted and we're facilitating that core educational provision. But with the medication that I was on and the pain that I was in, I found that come Friday, I was done in and I couldn't even envisage working over the weekends. But the Wild Women sessions are back and we had our first one last week before, end of July. And it was gorgeous to be back to it. And I think to take a break from it for a few months made me realise just how needed it was.
Yeah, for the people, for women out there, it's important to have that time out. And if you're giving them that option to get away from life for the day, I'm sure there'll be lots of women queuing up to do that. Get away from washing and the cooking and, like you said, the decision making. And nothing beats being out in the fresh air. Right, nothing beats being out in nature. It resets your whole nervous system and everything else. There's just so many benefits, isn't there?
There absolutely are. And I think something that we sometimes take for granted is how connected we are as a species. Humans need to be together. And that human connection is something that women don't always get the chance to have, that connection with other women around them. Yet going back many thousands of years ago, the women would be connected in a way that we're just not today, like that kind of village sense. So to bring a small element of that back into our little Wild Isle community is gorgeous.
No, I totally agree. Like, I feel like as women now, we want it all. We want to be successful business owners. We want to be a good mum. We want to be this. We just want to do everything. And then you end up being pulled in so many directions with guilt.
Yes.
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And, that's why I think it's such a valuable service that, that you've created. Like you said, it's a great place for people to connect and obviously just talk about stuff and obviously get together and be outside, which I just think is so valuable. So long live the Wild Women. Like, let's hope it continues and your road to recovery as well with you in your accident is going to pass in the future.
Hopefully
get
so.
back on it. So what's the plans for this year? Like, obviously you got knocked off of your plans. You've had to come back slowly and rebuild. You talk about that you've got a team. Is that something that you were building before?
Yes. So thankfully, I had a small team at the point of being involved in that car crash, because without a team, everything would have just come to a halt.
Grinding halt, yeah.
But thankfully, the team were there to maintain some of that educational provision. And our focus had been on those children that Wild Isle was their sole educational provision. So we had to keep that running. It did mean some slight adjustment, but we have to be adaptable, don't we? But the team is still growing even further. And about 8 weeks ago, I was lucky enough to be able to employ my old teaching assistant, which is just brilliant because we've worked together before. She knew how I worked and I knew how she operated. So I knew bringing her on board would be a great decision. And having just done this event with her this weekend, it was perfect. And made me realise that was the right decision. But the other members of the team have been people working on a real casual basis, perhaps doing a few hours for us in addition to their main job. One of those members of the team is my sister, and it's been great to work with my sister. But to bring on somebody in a more, not a more full-time basis, because hours-wise it's not full-time, but with more of a shared vision, I suppose, to bring her on and be able to have ideas. I think a couple of weeks ago, approaching the summer holidays, I was slowly heading towards a I'm getting burnt out moment. And weirdly enough, she's also called Ellie. My new member of the team brought these ideas to the table for this event that we've just done over the weekend. And to be able to share the load slightly is great. And the plan going forward, having her on board with more availability, is to potentially circle back round to some sessions that we don't run anymore, but have done. One of those is our nature babies. It's great. I love it. But I had got to a point where I was spread so thin that I couldn't offer everything. And I'd had to prioritise that core educational provision that was commissioned by the local council. So Ellie will be running Nature Babies again soon, and we are branching out into some school-based, nursery-based consultancy to help them develop their outdoor provision and their outdoor education, which is really exciting.
Yeah, that is. It's really exciting. And it just shows like having that one idea and obviously you going all in. Because I think this is the other thing is sometimes people do half and half and it's really hard. Like if you're still in the teaching game to also start a business, you sometimes do have to be like, I'm going to go all in because otherwise you are like working like 24/7. So the fact that you took the leap and then you went all in and you started and you identified a need. So there was a gap in the market and there was a demand because people were asking for it. So then you plugged that gap and created the provision, which is now commissioned, which is great because obviously it means guaranteed income coming in. And I love the fact that you've grown a team to help you deliver as well. You've done some great, you're building the business. You're building all the foundations for the future. And it has masses of potential to continue to grow, I would have thought, because people are getting, they're wanting children to have different experiences. And we also know that school isn't for everybody. And so people are wanting alternative provision, different options. And so I think you're in a great place. And, you could dominate the island that you're on as well.
That's the plan.
Yes, I love it for you, Ellie. It's brilliant. Oh, if anyone wants to find out about your activities and how they can get involved with you, obviously they're going to be on the Isle of Wight. Where is the best place for them to come and find you?
Well, they don't necessarily need to be on the Isle of Wight because we launched back in the spring, but again, with the crash, everything paused. But It's coming back. We launched an online platform to reach people nationwide, but also worldwide. I've got a few friends out in the States who are trialing it for me now, that home educate their children, which is brilliant. So that is called the Wild Wonder Circle. But you can find us online on Facebook and Instagram. We are Wild Isle Nature School, and the website is wildilenatureschool.co.uk.
Brilliant. I love it. And I love the fact that you're building an online business as well at the same time and trying to get the resources to other people so they can benefit from your work. Oh, it's brilliant. Well, I can't wait to meet you in person at the event on the 10th of October. Thank you so much for giving up your time this morning to come and talk to us and share with everyone your story and what you're doing in business. You're doing incredible things. Well done. Congratulations on being a finalist. And thank you for being part of our podcast today.
Thank you so much for giving the opportunity to be part of the podcast. And I can't wait for the awards.